What's up, everybody? Sven here. I'm bringing you day number 19 of Let's Talk About Autism. Today, I will talk about a woman from 100 years ago that most people have never heard of. Her name was Grunya Sukhareva, who was born in the Russian Empire and published research on autism that is very close to what we know today about high-functioning autism. Or my autism, definitely high functioning. Yeah, that's crazy. And this was published in 1925. And what's interesting is that it's now 2025. So 100 years ago, down to the year. And it was published the very following year in German. But God knows if Weimar Germany had access to it. And if anything, the English-speaking world, capitalist like Britain and the United States, did not have this paper until 2013. It took 88 years to get it into the US and UK and other countries that speak languages other than Russian and German. And I can't help but theorize that the reason why this is the case, why it took so long, is because the USSR was obviously communist and the paper probably was either censored, retracted, shelved, or it was just not let outside of Russia. So, because of that, we had to figure it out ourselves. And again, I can't help but think, if we had had access to this research in 1925 or sometime after that, like not by 1930, a lot of the problems that autistic people who are high functioning face today would have been addressed probably sometime in the 1930s. And it would have been my great-grandparents' problem. But no. The USSR was communist, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Stalinist Russia didn't let the paper out into the capitalist West. So that means that we didn't have access, and only now are we actually asking the questions that should have been asked 100 years ago. And I guess contrary to that, her findings were translated to English and published in the US the exact same year Asperger's or high-functioning autism and the rest of autism were merged. So who knows if that played a role? I'm not sure, but God knows. Well, maybe I guess I'll figure it out at some point. But yeah, if we had had access to this, the problems we face now would have been addressed 90 years ago, 95 years ago, and it wouldn't be my problem, but it is my problem. And honestly, it might be God's plan to use me as the person to help end this abuse of autistic youth just based on a diagnosis. Just autism is not descriptive enough of a person. I will get to the DSM-5 in a later video, probably this coming week. It's Monday, so definitely this week. Yeah. Grunya Sukhareva published a paper 100 years ago to the year on autism. And if we had had it, this would not have been a problem, but we're doing it now. And I will get to the bottom of it. Better late than never. Be the voice for autistic youth. And hope we can finally treat people based on what they actually need rather than based on a simple diagnosis. All right, this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to end it here. And I will see you guys on day 20. Goodbye.